Excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the states in Nigeria. When a woman meets power, truth often hides behind influence. Today, I'm peeling off, or I peel back the glitters and face the bruises. Real and rumored conversation. This is Real Talk with Kike, and I'm asking what's really happening in the society that we are in today. Again, I welcome you to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your convener, your executive producer, your script writer. I wear many caps on this platform. My name remains Kike Atanda-Owo. I think it's important for us to hear what on this day initial segment has for us. When I return, I give my 2 cents on it. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. The 1989 SAP riots, mirrors today's struggles. However, we look at it because it's the rising hardship that has remained, a culture when it comes to unemployment and public distrust in leadership. And of course, decades later, Nigerians still protest for economic justice, providing that history keeps repeating when reforms ignore the people's pain. I think that's the word. That's my takeaway from on this day industry segment today. I think it's important for us to get the message from our sponsors. When I return, I dive straight to the issue at hand. Please stay with me. I'll be right back. This is Real Talk with Kike. All right, many thanks for staying with me. Just days ago, a video of actress Regina Daniels' emotional teary and speaking of violence that she can no longer stand a marriage or a husband went viral. Her family members took to social media, alleging that her husband, Senator Ned Nwoko, had assaulted her. The senator, a lawyer, a businessman, and the 7 lawmakers swiftly fired back with a public statement denying any form of violence. Instead, he accused Regina Daniels of drug and alcohol abuse, claiming she had become violent towards staff and destroyed properties, even alleging he suggested rehabilitation. Now, Nigeria is watching a public marriage unravel in real time, each side presenting sharply different narratives, both surrounded by power, money, and media scrutiny. No police report has been confirmed, no court filings made public, but the digital courtroom of public opinion is already in session. On this edition of Real Talk with Kike today, we are not here, I must emphasize, to sensationalize things. I am here to ask hard questions, demand evidence, and of course understand how stories like this reflect our culture's handling of domestic crisis, women's safety, and reputation in the age of social media. And joining me is someone who never, shies away from controversy, a retired investigative journalist, media personality, and a fearless truth seeker. She has already spoken publicly about this case, and today I will challenge her perspective. And all of us, this goes beyond just the hashtags and the headlines and the narratives out there. Before I delve into Real Talk, I think it's important for us to play my guest profile. And when I return, I will be speaking with her. Please stay with me. I'll be right back. This is Real Talk with Kike. All right, many thanks for staying with me. Let me use this opportunity to usher in my guest, Dr. Kemi Oluloyo. It's a pleasure to have you on Real Talk with Kike today. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Are you fine?
Yes, I'm very fine, thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for creating time to do this with me. So let's just dive straight to the issue at hand. Dr. Kemi, you've had extensive conversation with Senator both recently and in the past. And given that a critical question of this nature or of this situation at hand, I must ask you, why did Senators Ned Nwoko's narrative of Regina's have a drug and alcohol problem only surface publicly and forcefully as a direct response to a viral video alleging violence? You know, if this was a known fact, so to speak, ongoing issues, you know, like this should have helped her, you know, in terms of, you know, how to find healing or how to, you know, detoxify whatever thing, so to speak. As he claims, you know, this timing makes it appear less than a genuine health concern, if you ask many people, and more like a strategic or premeditated defense to discredit a potential abuse victim and control the public narrative, so to speak. What's your take on this? Let's start the conversation from there.
Well, what I have to say is that this is a pattern in the media. The Nigerian media has failed Regina. That's the first thing. Regina Daniels is an influencer, an actress, name it. Beautiful young girl. And everyone in the media, bloggers, mainstream journalists, the newspapers, everybody posts about Regina and Ned. The lovey-dovey trips, the events in the Senate, everything is on social media. But when there's trouble, all the media keeps quiet. They step back. This is a pattern in Nigeria. And that's why I happen to be the investigative journalist that will start investigating people. And then they'll say, Kemi has been paid. No one pays me. I jump into what I feel I need to do. On Saturday, the media should have called Ned. I don't live in Nigeria anymore. I don't practice journalism in Nigeria anymore. But it was my own son who messaged me from New York and said, Mommy, I just saw this on Sammy's profile. Sammy is Regina's brother. We spent 10 days with Nwoko's in Abuja, and I met Regina's family, all her brothers, everybody. Ned Nwoko has an extended family. He has a lot of children. There are wives, there are baby mamas, and there's a lot of children. And one thing I know about Ned is Senator Ned Nwoko loves his children and loves his family. Me personally, you saw what I said, Kike, when my father passed away earlier this year. Okay, I blamed it on polygamy and everything that went wrong. Some people have polygamous families that work, others don't.
All right.
So if you're married into polygamy, can I go on?
Yeah. No,
if you
go ahead.
Okay,
please.
if you're marrying Kike into a polygamous family, you need to know what you're getting into. And I believe Regina knew what she was getting into. There are things we don't see on social media. Competition with the wives. Who is Ned taking out today? Who is Ned taking out tomorrow? But what happened on Saturday, everybody has made Ned the villain. Some people are saying, why should he talk about her drug abuse? Some of you don't even know what drug abuse is. When you've been battling it so much.
I hear you. We will get there as we forge ahead with this conversation.
Sure.
But with due respect, ma'am, you know, I'd rather not have the media thrown under the bus because, you know, it's my profession. You have also practiced it, and I hold it in high regard, and I understand your concerns regarding media being held accountable. That is one of the reasons why you are on this platform today, because we are trying to make sure that we actually address the root causes of this issue and making sure that constructive criticism is brought to fall instead of assumption. Now, putting that aside, let's accept that Senator Ned's claim that Regina was destructive and slapped staff members for one moment. My question is about proportionality and power here. A young wife in a vast, powerful man's household allegedly has a violent episode. interesting narrative. The response from that man, or for me to use a better adjective, a powerful man, is not to call the police to file an official report which would legally document our own alleged crime, so to say, but instead launch a public campaign about our mental health and demand international rehabilitation. Isn't this a classic move, power move, if you ask me? That's my first question. Using this health narrative now to control a young woman rather than engaging with her allegedly in terms of actions through the legal system where she would have the right and due process. What's your take on this?
Okay, Kike, I disagree with you. And I said this to you yesterday. Why do I disagree with you? Because we are Nigerians. In Nigeria, we do things the way we want. And I hear it all the time. Kemi, we're not in America. In America, it'll be different. Number one, as Nigerians and a serving senator, who wants to put their private life out there that their wife is hooked on drugs? What Regina was going through on that night in that video is called psychosis. When you're in psychosis because of drug abuse, because of different kind of drugs in your system, opiates, marijuana, cocaine, all the drugs he listed. Because of that, when you have psychosis, you start attacking people, you start destroying property, you start doing a lot of stuff, and people have to restrain you. I spoke to Ned. This is how it started. I chatted Ned, and Ned was typing. I mean, I am not a typer. Okay, it's like when you're writing on WhatsApp, 1 line, 2 lines, but when you have 8 to 10 lines, he was just typing and chatting me. And when it got so long that I couldn't even catch up reading what he's writing and replying, he now picked up the phone and called me. And I said, why is it that you did not arrest the people supplying Regina drugs? You said a friend, you mentioned a friend's first name, and you mentioned her brother. Why did you not arrest them for supplying him drugs? Do we do that in Nigeria? Like I said, we're Nigerians. We try to keep it under wraps because nobody wants it to be out there. But when it gets bad and the patient or the person of interest has psychosis, then everybody gets frustrated. When Ned wrote me in the chat and said, my health is deteriorating, I did a video on TikTok. I did a live on Instagram yesterday for 3 hours, but most people on that live were Americans, as in Nigerians that are in America that late. My health is deteriorating because of your situation. I am very concerned about you and your health, and I'm also concerned about what is going to happen to the children. Now, when a 60-something-year-old man says that his health is deteriorating and is concerned about his wife. And in that same chat, he said, I don't know which one of you is giving you these drugs. I don't know which one of your friends is giving you these drugs, but it has to stop. Ned typed things like as if he was dealing with a daughter. The internet has castigated Ned. They have called me someone working for him. They have said he is on my payroll. Ned has not given me a penny, and I have not asked him for a penny. I am not working for him in PR. I am not acting as a journalist. I'm acting as a friend to the family. And what I'm saying to people is that when somebody in his 60s is actually pleading for help, no one has ever thought about this man's mental health. What about Ned's mental health? What about Ned that has to represent his constituents in the Senate for that matter? Where are the Senate wives? There are senators' wives out there. 1 or 2 of them have spoken to me. Why are they not speaking out? Why are they not helping Regina go home? I'm only concerned about Regina's mental health, and that's it. And Kike, what I told you yesterday, I called Chairman Marwa at the NDLEA. He's out of the country. I spoke to Femi and I linked finally. We had a meeting and I said, you need to let us do this show again. We did a show about marital crisis and how women go into drugs. We've done it 3 times. We'll do a 4th one because the awareness has to be out there. Where are the senators' wives? I called them out. 2 of them contacted me. There's a lot we can't say. There's a lot happening. Kike, we spoke yesterday. There's a lot we cannot say on these public channels.
Dr. Kemi.
Think of it.
Dr. Kemi, many thanks for that insight. But I must ask
Yeah.
you these two questions, because as you are speaking, two things came to mind. Ned Nwoku, Senator Ned Nwoku, has claimed that Regina is battling drug and alcohol abuse. Has even alleged that
Yeah.
a woman named Anne, which I must clarify is not Annie Macaulay. A woman named Anne
Yeah,
is
he has
one.
already confirmed to
Yeah,
me.
a woman named Anne is one of our drug supplier, alongside other names that have been mentioned. Given this public and damaging accusation, has there been any veritable proof provided? Specifically, have the police been involved to test Regina for substance in her system, similar to how Ned previously pensioned Jaruma to be medically examined? I remember a month or a few years ago when Jaruma was brought to fall. That's my first question to you. My second question, because of what your earlier submission, is the fact that Senator Ned Nwoku has presented videos of damaging properties as evidence that Regina is the violent one. However, in a conflict, how can we be sure that property damage isn't a reaction to or a symptom of a different form of victimization, such as sustained emotional abuse or control? How do we separate the cause from the effect in this situation
Let me
at
tell you
hand?
that. Kika, let me first answer the first one. I can't speak about Jaruma because I did not follow that. I left the country and I don't like Jaruma, okay, because she's defamed me herself. So I didn't follow the Jaruma arrest. But all I can say is that when I moved that Jaruma, like he has all this credible information that people were giving her drugs. That's the only thing I am blaming Ned for in this one, because Ned should have called the NDLEA or the police or law enforcement. Abuja has open air drug market. There's tons of drugs there. There's morphine in Abuja, and how morphine entered Abuja, I don't know. Something we don't market normally on the streets or on the chemist or something is something we don't market in the chemist is ending up on the streets from the hospitals. Now, talking about that, it boils down to what I said in the beginning. Who wants to put their stories out there? Ned might be doing Regina's brothers a favor by not reporting them to the police. You know how the police is themselves. Egbetokun will tell you that. We like people to solve this thing within the family. Domestic violence, they like the family to solve it within themselves. So when drugs are involved, okay, this Ann girl, her name is also Cassie. If drugs are involved, okay, some of my private chats with Senator Nwoku that I read to you yesterday when you were, I don't send chats, I don't post chats, I rarely do anything like that. Stuff like that is private to me. If I have to read it to you, I'll read it to you. But a part of what I read to you yesterday said something about Regina brings friends home really late, like 3 in the morning. They disturb everyone sleeping in the house, staff, himself. Regina filmed me using the bathroom. Regina filmed me in the bed. I came to ease myself in the bathroom and she was there filming. And a lot of people thought it was a skit. It wasn't. He did not like that. He was upset. He was angry that Nigerians saw him as a 7th senator doing content creation. And it was not content creation. This is the mind of this young lady. She is suffering from psychosis. And this is where I come in. I am only interested in Regina because I went through the same thing with Whitney Houston. Her brother was supplying her drugs. They were putting her on drugs because they wanted her to give them money. They wanted her to give them a lot of money. The brothers, the friends, the sisters, the this, everybody was using Regina as an ATM. That is all I saw here. So the minute you give Regina that drug, they can control her. This is what they did to her. They manipulated her. And at the end of that chat, Ned said, if she does not come home for rehab, I will stop funding your lifestyle. Imagine this man was talking to his wife like his daughter. You're coming home late. That's how a dad talks to the daughter. You brought a friend home, and I told you, this girl has to sleep here tonight or leave now. And instead of her spending the night, everybody keep quiet, go to bed. 3 more girls joined at 3:30 a.m. He didn't like that. And let me just say this part because I wrote my notes down. Kike, I will mention some names. I am not a married woman. I have never been married, but people always talk nonsense saying that Kemi is giving marital advice, but she's never been married. Believe it or not, it's the people that not been married that give the best marital advice. If Blessing CEO was on this show with me now, you will understand what I'm saying because you will agree with it. When you are married, okay, if you are a young married girl, for example, Shadi Okoya got married to Baba Razak Okoya when she was very young. If you notice the minute she got married in 1999, we followed the whole thing, Kike. The minute Shadi got married, did you see Shadi partying with her friends? Shadi was at every single Owambe in Nigeria. And every time she goes to a party with Chief Razak, you will see Shadi. She will sit in front of a camera and she will show you what she's wearing out that night. And she will pose and she'll do this on her selfie camera and she'll go out. She was at every party. But did you see her friends partying with her? Even the younger ones are even married to their age mates, Chioma and Davido. Chioma, some people abuse her because she's going to the club a lot. The babies are at home. The nannies are with them. But who is Chioma with when she goes out to the club? She's with Davido. She's not with her friends in the club. She doesn't club with her friends. This is the difference with Regina. Ned gives her freedom. And I'm looking at the internet saying, oh, Ned trapped her in a marriage. She has her freedom. I went there. I saw her friends. I met a lot of her friends. But something didn't click to me. Why is she hanging out with these people? She just simply had bad company. They introduced her to drugs and now she's messed up and they don't want to take accountability. They're saying she escaped.
And Ned doing her a favor when you say that Senator...
Regina is trying to escape from something else. No, many of you use drugs and you are not escaping from anything. It's called recreational use. And that's how it started with Regina. Recreation.
All right, I hear your submissions, but there's a sweeping claim in this note that all the women in Ned's house, you know, are on drugs. If there's any truth to such what will I call it, a pervasive environment of substance abuse, who ultimately bears responsibility for fostering that environment? I ask in pain, especially when there's a pronounced power differences between them. That's, you know, and there's obviously a patch on failed parenting from Regina's mother, if I'm keeping it real on this platform, when it comes to greed, you know. But when an 18-year-old marries a man in his 60s, does this, I feel that there's a significant portion of the duty of care and guidance not transferred to the experienced, powerful adults who entered the marriage. How much of the blame for any failure that should have you know, happened in the union in terms of what lies ahead between them, in terms of husband in this case? And I feel that with all that has been shared thus far, how can we move forward now regarding Senator Ned Nwoko's central defense that pivot to an alleged or an allegation of substance abuse, framing this as a cry for help rather than an admission of violence? In your own investigative path or career, you know, I feel that similar high-profile cases like this would have occurred, that you would have experienced. I like the fact that earlier you made reference to Whitney Houston, Bob and Bob. How often is this substance abuse card played as a strategic deflection from domestic violence allegations? And what are the red flags based on your career path that distinguish a genuine intervention from a PR maneuver? What's your take on this quickly before we go to break?
Okay. I'm a journalist, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a PR specialist. All three apply here. Looking at the PR side, he's a sitting senator and he has a lot of wives. He's not the only one. Many of them have it. Looking at it as a pharmacist and a drug abuse counselor, I have no proof whatsoever that all the wives in Ned Nwoko's house are on drugs. Because one, I haven't seen them on drugs. Two, no one has ever told me that they're all on drugs. And three, I spent a whole day with them twice. When I went to Abuja, Kike, I've only been to Abuja one time. When I went to Abuja in 2021, May 2021, the Nwokos invited me to help them launch Regina Daniels Fashion. You know, Regina launched her fashion line. So at the end of the day, When I went to, hold on one second, I'm having a problem with this camera. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me well?
I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you.
Okay, very good. So when I went to Abuja in May of 2021, the Nwoko family has a Sunday event. They call it Family Spot. They do it every Sunday. So we happen to be there. My son and I happen to be there 2 Sundays in that 10-day trip. So Family Spot is after church, everybody shows up with all their children to one of Ned's estates that has a tennis court and a swimming pool. I'm sure you've seen Ned and Regina playing tennis on that court and playing around lovey-dovey and all. I spent the whole day with them. When all the children arrive, you just have I have photos of this. You just have a group of people, okay, and children. It's all the mothers, okay, all the wives, all the baby mamas, all the children. White, black, Arab, different shades, different colors, but they all have Ned's eyes. Ned Nwoko is a polygamous man that loves his clan, CLAN. I went one by one to introduce myself to all the women. I know all the names of the women that had children for Ned. One by one, I went to them. Okay? I met some of them and we hung out, and then they just bring all this food, chicken, meat, and we just eat. Whoever wants to swim can jump into the swimming pool. Whoever wants to play tennis can play tennis. Sammy, Regina's brother, and the other brother, they're singers as well. Okay, so they started playing their music on a Bluetooth speaker, and I was dancing with them. I was rapping with them. My son is a rapper too, and we're all having fun. I just love the whole idea. The following Sunday, we came back again to Family Spot, and then we flew back to Lagos. What I witnessed 2 Sundays with the Nwokos, I don't know, and I can't say any of the wives or any of the women use drugs. The people coming out now and saying they're drug addicts, okay, are people that should have said that before. Or the wives themselves should have said that before. Do you understand what I mean? So I can't attest to that. It's because Regina is the most high profile out of them. And I believe she's the youngest out of all of them. And because of who Regina is why I am involved. I called, I messaged him, he called me back. We spoke as a family friend relationship. Regina and my son are the same age. They made friends while they were there. So I'm not even going near the ex-wife or the wife's side. The hearsay is ridiculous. Nigerians are not looking at what we should be looking at, including you, Kike.
How is that so?
To be looking for it.
How is that so? Wait, when you're pointing finger at me now, I need to have better clarity. When you say including me, Kike, it's because I want better. Night. Yeah, I'm listening to you.
We don't sleep at night with many celebrities that we know. We don't know what's going on in their pillow talk.
Of course.
What made Regina show the bedroom at night as she walked in from one of her late night parties and joined her husband? What made her film that and put it online? Okay, I can film my husband in the bed, but what made her post it online? Do you know what psychosis is when you're high on drugs? You cannot correlate anything. You cannot think well. What made her film? Why her husband, she wanted to turn off that camera, but she moved so that she can block the husband in the camera. That was 3 in the morning. Senator Nwoko told me this was 3:30 in the morning. Like, should she be doing that? What makes somebody, Kike, if I stand up now and I take off all my clothes on this light, don't you think something is wrong with me?
Obviously.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I might think I'm naked in this room, but I'm also naked on Nigerian television on Silverbird. So something that we have in our mind, whenever drugs enter the system, everything ends. So I'm only interested in her health. And may I say this, before we started the show, I have spoken to Senator Nwoko, okay? I have my own sources. I'm not doing a journalism story. I'm not in the journalism anymore. But I spoke to one particular senator this afternoon, and I said, is Senator Nwoko in there? He said, no, he didn't come today. He was not here yesterday either. The man said This stuff is deteriorating his health. He's concerned about his wife. So maybe he's on family leave or temporary leave, but he was not at the Senate yesterday and he was not there today. However, I spoke to him on the chat like 15 minutes before we went live. Kike, do you want me to tell you what Senator said?
Please, yes, go ahead.
I said to Senator Nwoko, I said, I did a video yesterday to counter-oppose Sweezy, Regina's brother in London, who said that Regina's problem is not public, that people always have problems in their marriage. And then someone else said that she's already gone home and you've settled with her. Okay? So my own video said that Regina has a substance abuse problem. Don't tell the public she has no affiliation with drugs. And I did a video. Senator Nwoko, is Regina back home? Has she gone for therapy and rehabilitation? Okay? He replied to me, not yet. That is the only way forward. She has not returned home. And he said, that is the only way forward. And then I went live with you 10 minutes later. Should we be focusing on what the public is saying about marriage? Or should we be focusing on saving somebody's life?
Exactly.
Look at how Whitney died. Look at how Amy Winehouse died.
Exactly my point. That's the reason why we are here now. All right, glad to know you're still right there with us. If you are just tuning in, this is Real Talk with Kike, and I've been dissecting the unfolding, crisis, between Senator Ned Nwoko and Regina Daniels, a story of love, power, and the battle for public truth. Of course, our guest, Dr. Kemi Oluloyo, has been following every twist from the viral video to Senators Ned's encounter between both of them. She has tried to actually also read some of the, conversation that transpired between them, and she's giving us an investigative perspective on what's fact and what is being spinned in the media space and what's still hidden. And you know what? I just want to say many thanks to everyone who is still stuck with us, who is listening to us. After the break, I will actually dig deeper. Or, I've gone on a break, guys. I need to get my thoughts together. After this, I'm going into the next session where I will dig deeper into credibility of both claims, the influence of social media on justice, as also Dr. Kemi Oluloyo, you have also called on the attention of the media in terms of the role they play and what this story reveals about the culture of silence in elite marriages. Again, I want to say many thanks, Dr. Kemi, for all that you have shared thus far. But let me use this medium to quickly open the phone line for those who would like to be part of this conversation. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number that is showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, both on Real Talk with Kike platform and on Silverbird platform. Again, I want to say thank you so much, ma'am, for all that you have shared thus far. But you know what? Let me ask you this, ma'am. Ned has stated that none of his other wives have ever accused him of violence. But does the significant power imbalance when it comes to age difference in such a family structure that is being created in the environments where otherwise may be reluctant to speak out, because we know how things are in the African setting, so to speak, making their silence an unreliable measure of his own character, so to, if we want to keep it real. So I must ask you now, Dr. Kemi, as an investigator yourself, you rely on evidence. The senator has made serious reputation-ending allegations against Regina. Violence, assault on staff, and substance abuse. Where is the concrete, veritable evidence? Where are the statements from the 3 so-called SLAP staff members? Where is the photographs, evidence of her destroying the cars and properties? Where are the medical reports or toxicology scans? Without this, aren't we just left with he said, she said, where the person with all the power and influence is the one making the unsubstantiated claims, so to speak? I would need you to throw light on this as an investigative journalist.
All right. I never wanted to go to that route, Kike, but do you know the term "for your eyes only"? There's a term called "for your eyes only." All right. James Bond had a movie about it. As an investigative journalist, sometimes you want to see things to prove them. and I wanted to know that Regina was on drugs. Ned Nwoko cannot release her medical records to me because even though I'm a family friend, I'm still a journalist. So I asked Ned to switch
I'm interrupting your thought process.
video.
Is it possible you adjust the camera a little bit? Can you adjust the camera?
I put it in landscape. Is it better now?
No, can you move?
Should I go back to the one I was?
Probably, maybe you should go back to the one you were before. It seems much better.
So much better now. Better?
Yeah, it's better now. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, like, I want to say this exclusively on this show to Nigerians. I'm a pharmacist in America, and 37 years, I will not let it go down the drain by asking for people's medical records and posting it online. I'm not a fan of posting medical records online. If you give me your medical record and you want me to post it online to prove something, I'm still not going to do it. You have to post it on your platform, and then I repost it on mine. That's how it's done. When it comes to things like HIV tests, drug abuse, I've seen celebrities post a lot. But on Saturday, in the name of God, in my own heaven here, I asked Senator Nwoko, how bad is this situation? He said he has had to restrain her. He has tried. Maybe when he's restraining Regina, Regina may feel he's beating me because she has almost harmed herself. So I asked Senator Nwoko, do you have any of those toxicology? I am a pharmacist and I can interpret things. Senator Ned Nwoko, please, can you switch to camera mode? He did. Kike, if I hold this and I put this in front of you, and I put this book towards the camera, you can see what's in my book. That's what I had him do. I actually saw her labs. I don't want the labs. I don't want anybody's medical record. But I saw the name was covered, the hospital was covered. I saw everything. And he messaged me the next chat. He said, this is what I've been dealing with for 8 months. The man is going through a lot. My jaws dropped. She's on very toxic levels of 5 different dangerous drugs. We have to save Regina. I said, are you going to send a statement out to the media? He said, I will put a statement out tomorrow. But I went and did a video and showed Nigerians what I saw, as in not anything. I just said it with my mouth. Her system has very dangerous drugs, morphine, opioids, cocaine, weed, vaping, everything. When you have those things in your system, you are going to have psychosis. You are going to go crazy. You can take a knife and you can harm someone. I have seen it many times in this profession. As a pharmacist, as a drug education counselor, I have seen it all. It is not something you hide. The man is frustrated. You go ask Chairman Mariwa about the families that come on the NDLA spaces, what their own families are going through. When you have one person using drugs in the family, we have dealt with so many of them. So when I saw what was going on, I'm like, we're not trying to prove anything to Nigerians. So when he released the statement the next day, he just released it. He didn't even send it to me to look or anything. He just said he's going to release a statement. It was not even a statement. It was just a post on all his platforms. And he mentioned the drugs themselves. I saw them. Her system needs to be cleaned out. Those of you out there that are Regina's comments, you need to go to those comments and beg her. That's what they're doing on my pages on Facebook now. Kemi Fight Africa. Everybody go there. I have a women's page on Facebook that I don't advertise. Kemi Fight Africa. All the women in the comments are Regina, please. And they're tagging her. Regina, please go for treatment. I asked them to. If you love Regina, do
Dr.
that.
Dr. Kemi, I'm trying to manage time now. You know, when he says she should go for treatment, because I know that the senator's solution is rehabilitation, you know, in Jordan or in controlled facility in Aso Rock. How do you possibly removing a young mother from her child, her family, her career, her entire support system in Nigeria, and potentially taking her out of the country? Is that not a form of extreme isolation and control? I'm asking in pain.
No,
I'm coming.
No,
I'm coming. I will allow you to throw light on this.
Okay, finish.
So
Finish what you have to say.
For me, I'm looking at it from the angle of, if the goal is genuine healing, why not pursue a top tier, transparent outpatient program in Nigeria where our family can be involved and our well-being can be independently verified, rather than what many are viewing as an out of sight or out of mind exile, so to speak? That's my first question. My second question, because of time, because this will be my last question to you, let's address the foundational power, the power dynamics. A billionaire senator, over 60, who married a woman in her late teens. When you were talking earlier, when they said he even used to give her time on Sundays and the likes and all of that, in a such profoundly imbalanced relationship, can any condition, or I don't even know, ultimate, I'm struggling with my choice of word now, you know, assess rehab or else, I don't know, can we consider this a choice, or is it just by its very nature of I don't know the word to use right now, because I'm trying to, I'm trying to manage my thoughts. However, how can Regina now, with less power, even though she has influence, money, and genuinely consent or negotiate under such a threat, especially when her public image and access to her child are potentially at stake? Dr. Kemi, let me keep it real on this platform. Many African men, when they are trying to throw a woman under the bus, when a woman is trying to have a voice, there are major two things that they use. Is either they say you are a prostitute or she's on drugs. How can we start changing the narrative of these men? Or you're mad, exactly. Many thanks for adding that. So, with the situation at hand, how do we lend our voice in a way that we can change that culture? Because whatever thing Ned Nwoko has done now is to create a mindset of, when Regina Daniel comes out next to say anything, he wants to create that narrative of doubt in the minds of people. And this has become a culture of the men in Africa in particular. What is the way forward with the situation at hand? These are my last questions.
Kike, the first question, an answer to the first question. Ned is not really, if I lived in Nigeria, I would be there. But Ned is not trying to take Regina away from her children. She already left her children with the nannies. You know, she reportedly slapped the nannies because they said one nanny complained about her drug use. This is not the first time nannies are complaining about drug use with other celebrities. We had this too with Tonto and others. But at the end of the day, okay, she's not being taken away from her children. She has left her children for 72 hours. They're waiting for her to come home. Her friends are not urging her to come home. All the friends I know that Regina has, at least the closest one, they're not urging her to go home. They're actually giving her a narrative of, you will be abused more. Now, the people that are supposed to be around this family right now, they both need family support and they need psychological support. The people that should be around them are not just the medical professionals, but the Senate wives are one of them. And I told two of them yesterday, you guys need to go to that house and you guys need to bring Regina and Ned back together so that Regina can get the treatment she needs. The other people that could also help are the men in the Senate, okay? But the Senate wives are much, much better because they have an organization and Regina is the treasurer over there. Now, family is contaminated right now. I believe what Ned is saying about his brother-in-laws, well, Regina's brothers, okay? I'm not just hearing it from Ned, but I'm hearing it from other people. Sammy has a bad influence on Regina. Okay, I don't care who hates me. I don't care who likes me. I'm going to be the same Kemi Oluloyo, Dr. Kemi. I have 3 first-class degrees and I use them whether I'm practicing or not. Pharmacy is my most important degree in all 3 because it deals with life or death. I know people who have died from this stuff, and regardless of it, they need to get help while you have the chance. And I know A lot of people have the chance because Ned is powerful. Ned has money. If Regina wants to go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, UAE, good rehab centers in the Arab countries, he will pay for it or send her. He's already picked Jordan, where she wouldn't even have access to buying more drugs or getting more drugs. If the reason why he said that is most Nigerians don't know that there's something called withdrawal, okay, and relapse. And this is what happened to Whitney Houston. Whitney went on the morning of that Grammy party to the swimming pool of the hotel at Beverly Hilton, and a man met her there. And when she was done with the man, it turned out to be a crack dealer that brought her some crack. While they're treating, they might still go back and relapse and buy drugs. So he wanted her not in Asokoro, but to go abroad to get the rehab treatment. Everything is there for Regina, but somebody cannot force you into rehab unless you want to get off drugs. This is the hardest part of addiction.
Unfortunately,
You can't force somebody.
Unfortunately, I have to interject your thought process. We've run out of time, but quickly let me take on. But before I let you go, there's the last segment of the show that I called My Take. This is where I have an opinion as a host. And the only trending story that I'll be able to touch on today because of time is the 5 years anniversary of EndSARS. You know, and my take on this 5 years anniversary of EndSARS is just how anything really changed in Nigeria police. It has been 5 years since the EndSARS protest, you know, shook Nigeria and gave young people a powerful voice against police brutality. In October 2020, to be precise, you know, the world, you know, watched as peaceful protesters, you know, at Lekki Toll Gate demanded for justice and accountability. Their message was clear, you know, end the violence and corruption and respect for human rights. But today, 5 years later, we are still asking, has anything really changed? Even though the government promised reforms and passed, you know, Police Act 2020 to promote, you know, better policing and accountability, but the changes have been slow and mostly on papers, to be real. Reports of extortion, you know, torture, unlawful killings continues. So a human rights activist also said it's best that the problem isn't about bad laws, if I got that correctly. It's the lack of political will to follow them. So recent events also proves that just last week, a viral video from Owerri, you know, Imo State, showed that police officers openly wearing, you know, is it Vikings, you know, or Viking, you know, cult barretts, you know, where the same group linked to deadly cult clashes across the country. So these are the same officers meant to protect citizens from crime, when those enforcing the law belong to criminal cults. So it just shows that police reforms has not truly begun. Although the Imo State, Imo State Police Commissioner CP Aboki Danjuma, you know, has ordered an investigation and promised discipline in terms of the situation that that exposes how deep corruption and unprofessionalism still run within the force. But Nigerians are losing trust because the police are still failing to clean up the ranks. And yet, despite this disappointment, EndSARS remains an important tool. It broke the silence, gave young Nigerians the courage to speak up. The movement may not fix the system, but has awoken the generation that now demands for accountability from our leaders. So the demand is not over until the police truly bring that change, until justice is real, until citizens feel safe in their own country. That is when we will know that, you know, EndSARS was not in vain. Unfortunately, Dr. Kemi, I cannot come to you to take your own submission on this trending, but till I come your way, I think it's important for us to continue to, you know, lend our voices to issues that affect us all. And please catch me tomorrow on Inspiration FM at 3 p.m. your Drive Time Talk Show. And please stay safe and be kind to one another. Bye now. My name remains Atanda-Owo.